I got a question in here. The question is, what are the pros and cons of incorporating as an LLC versus an S or C corporation? It's a good question. First of all, if you are a medical professional, you're going to want to make sure that you designate yourself as a professional LLC or a professional corporation. If you need a license, you have to identify yourself as a professional. So it's an actual different corporate filing than it would be for a normal business LLC or a corporation. So that's the first issue. You'll actually be a PLLC or a professional corporation, PC. But as far as the actual structure goes, there are definitely pros and cons. The pro of the, I'm actually going to say this is a pro or a con depending on your preferences. But the pro or con with an LLC is it has less formalities than a corporation. In a corporation, it's actually owned by shareholders. So a corporation, you have to report to the shareholders. You have to do an annual meeting to discuss basically the state of the business. Whereas in an LLC, you don't have those formalities. So it's a pro in that there are fewer formalities. But sometimes that's also a con because it's actually a good idea to have these meetings on an annual basis where you talk about the state of the business, how things are going, review some of the legal issues or the contracts, the processes, the things that your business is doing. So in a way, I think those formalities are there to protect shareholders, to make sure the business goes well. So if you're not doing those things, you should be, whether you have an LLC or a corporation. So to me, that's not really that big of a deal, except for the LLC does provide you maybe a little bit more flexibility in that way. The other pro is dealing with taxes, and you'll have to talk to a CPA to see what works best for your particular business because taxes are complicated. But generally, an LLC will allow the pass-through taxation. An S-Corp really does the same thing, and that's why I say you got to talk to a CPA because it just gets complicated. But as far as the legal structure goes, they're both going to protect your individual personal assets from the assets of the business as long as you do the steps necessary to make that happen. So it really, to me, comes down to a personal preference on how good are you going to be in following the formalities that you need to follow to make sure that you're actually limiting your liability in your limited liability company or in your professional corporation. As far as the S and C corporation goes, the C corporation is going to have the double corporate tax. I can't imagine really if you're a small business or don't have a lot of doctors in your business why you would have a C corporation unless your tax professional says it's going to make better sense for you tax-wise. But the big thing with the C corporation versus the S is that the C corporation you can have unlimited shareholders, where the S, I believe, you're limited to 150. So if you're obviously trying to go, take your business public and you want shareholder participation and you want to be issuing a lot of stocks, then a C corporation would make more sense. But that basically sums it up on the watered down version of LLC, S Corp, or C Corp. So if you have any other questions, let us know. Tweet us at Law for Docs. Thanks.